Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us here at HAC TV and our civic engagement program. Again, today we're going to be talking about how can Haitians get more civically engaged, and I'm really excited to be your host today. My name is Pierre. I'm the executive director of the Haitian American Caucus, and I'm excited to have this much needed conversation with our community. This program is being pre-recorded, but feel free to write messages on the chat, and we're going to have our HEC staff in the chat answering what questions you may have. Let's jump right in. Thank you for joining HAC TV. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. How can Haitians become more civically engaged? Once again, my name is Pierre. I'm the executive director of the Haitian American Caucus. We are a international community development nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide Haitian communities all over the world with access to resources and information that will foster self-development and success. And we are excited to bring to you our civically engaged programming. We want our community to get civically engaged so that we can grow and we can become stronger and so that we can participate in matters that will help us civically. I'm excited to have with us today our HAC Technology Committee, Laurent Lochard, who's also a student at Vanderbilt University studying engineering. He was with us in our first program in the first week in January, and he'll be here today again about his experience being a young person being civically engaged. I'm really excited to have Laurent back. Laurent, how are you, man?
I'm doing well, Sam. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. How was it over there at Vanderbilt, man?
Not too bad. We're in the COVID era, so social distancing, COVID restrictions, testing a lot, but not too bad given all things.
All right, very good, man. Well, Laurent, thank you for joining us this Saturday afternoon to talk about how to be civically engaged. And we want to jump right in, Laurent. So, Laurent, when you hear being civically engaged, right? A young person like you who's been involved in the community, who's worked in nonprofits, who's worked on political campaigns, who's done strategy. What does that mean to you to be civically engaged? Because sometimes people hear the word, but they don't really understand. Today, I want us to really get into the weeds of breaking it down. What does that mean to you, civically engaged?
I believe it has a very broad definition. So at the lowest levels, it's being involved in your local community in whatever form that is. So that could be as small as your block association, something at your school that's helping the community. Um, it could be volunteering with a local elected official's office. And then it goes all the way up to working, with nonprofits, starting your own nonprofit, and really even being entrepreneurial and having your business give back to the community. There's so many different ways that you can be civically engaged. I don't think you could really just blanket it um, easily, and you have to go through the spectrum of things.
Oh, very good points. But Laurent, why? Right? I'm 15 years old. I'm in Brooklyn. Why should I get involved? For what? Right? What am I gonna get out of it? Right? Why not just watch cartoons all day? Why do I want to be civically engaged? What does it do for me?
Well, I'd say that I don't think there's any community, on Earth that is perfect. Of course,
Hmm.
people's.
Whoa! Changes in your community. Like, wait, you got to break that down for me, Laurent. Like, let's really get into that. What's wrong with the community that we need changes in our community? Like, what do you mean?
Well, I mean that is really an individual question for an individual. I mean to say. So
Right.
whatever you would like to see change, maybe there's too much trash around your street, your community's too dirty. Uh, Maybe you see people who are going hungry, or something for me, which I think really hit home when I was back home a few months
Right.
ago. Was that there were fireworks all the time? So it could be something
Mm.
as simple as that. So just little things that you want to change in your community. Civic engagement is a great way to really go and pursue that.
Nice. Nice. All right, man. So give me an experience, Laurent. Like, we're talking straight here at HECT. Give me what is one of the worst experiences you had being involved, volunteering, or civically engaged? Give us a story where you were like, oh, I hate this. I want to go home. But then at the end, you maybe realize that it would work out for you.
Well, there's two things that come to mind.
Okay.
First, there might be a lot of what some might consider menial work,
Right.
to really achieve your goal. So it could be making calls, it could be actually doing paperwork, filing city forms, a whole bunch of things. But those are all steps, to the end game. So that's one that it's like it's I don't want to do this. It's boring.
Right.
Another is from my experience campaigning. Campaigns are a lot of work. They're definitely a lot of
Right.
work. So when you're campaigning, especially like in the crunch time, the last few days close to election day, you're talking little sleep. You're very busy. You're up all the time. You might be running around doing last minute canvassing. You might be doing posters. You might be even on election day getting out the vote or being at the polling site and encouraging people to vote. So those things they're tiring. They're tiring. It's very, very much a toll. But at
Right.
the end of the day, especially when your candidate wins, even if your candidate doesn't win, but
Right.
especially when your candidate wins, it
Right.
definitely feels worth it. I mean,
Right.
and you will be able to see the changes when the person that you advocated for, you fought for, you worked for, takes office, and then they start implementing policies and doing things in the community that you would like to see.
Right. No, amazing, man. Listen, that's dope. I think it's really special to hear that from a young person. And so for the young people that are watching out there, what advice would you give to them on how to get civically engaged? Because we're talking about Haitians getting engaged civically, right? But we're dealing with Haitian parents sometimes, right? So I want you to really talk to for the young folks who do have Haitian parents who may not understand it, or who may be like politique mbana politique même, or no mbana by volonté, no get COVID deal and then. What would be an advice that you would give to a young person who does have to deal with that?
Well, first I'll address the COVID part, and that everything is virtual nowadays. So I don't see
Right.
there's very few things that you can't do virtually anymore. You can definitely be engaged virtually. We're having this discussion now on a virtual platform. Uh,
Right.
so as long as you have the resources available to you to do that, you can do it. The second part, specifically in the Haitian community, and the how stringent Haitian parents can be, I would
Yes.
refer to the three L's, as they say,
Right.
l'école, l'église, la caille,
Right.
school, home, and church. So
Right.
of course, your parents want you to be active in school. They want you to get good grades. So that is definitely one place that you can go and maybe start a club.
That's
When
true.
things go back to normal, maybe you can stay late after school or go in early to work on that. Uh, and church in the Haitian community is a huge, huge one.
Right.
I have not, I've yet to find a pair of Haitian parents that don't want their kids involved in the church community. So definitely leverage that. It's a very
Mm.
caring community. It's such really as they say a poto. It's a foundation of our community that
Right.
I believe that's one of the best places you can go and organize as a young
Right.
person in the Haitian community. Get your
No.
pastor involved. Get your fellow peers, in the church. If you have Bible study, you can have your Bible study group get together and go do something. So
Nice.
there's many different ways.
No, that's dope, man. That's really dope. So let's talk about college students, man. Like right now, you guys are really literally going through a pandemic, and this says, 100-year pandemic. Last time we had a pandemic. So how can because right now I take it you don't have the ability to go and do an NAACP meeting or a National Urban League meeting. So what are some recommendations you have for young people watching this program, whether they're Haitian or not, that may want to get civically engaged, but they just don't know where to start. Like, the program is called How Can Haitians Become Civically Engaged? If I'm a Haitian person and I'm in college, what is my first step?
All right. Well, I'll start by saying the meetings are happening, just they're happening virtually. So just have to
Okay.
keep that in mind. But I would say the first step is if there's a specific organization or place that you're interested in, go to
Right.
their website, find their email addresses, find someone to contact and ask them, how can you help out? People,
Right.
nonprofits especially love free labor. So I doubt they'll tell you
Yes, they
no.
do.
I really doubt they'll tell you no.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
But even on in your campus community, working with your friends or working with an organization that is just doing something for the campus, it can definitely still be done during the pandemic. It can be done virtually if you have the resources available, the space, and their campus is permitting. Then you can do something in person. I'm assuming you're going to have to follow social distancing guidelines and masking guidelines and things like that. but things can still be done in person. And during this time, especially, mental health for everyone, but for students is very important. So you can support your local community just by handing out little gifts. Maybe you want to hand out like a nice mug with a pack of cocoa in there. You could have hot chocolate. You could
That's
do
true.
virtual movie nights.
That's
There's
true.
many different
That's
ways you
true.
can support your community and be engaged. And of course, that goes from the college level to the level of city government, state government, U.S. government. That one's a little harder, but you can still do that virtually, and you can reach out to people in the same manner.
No, that's dope. You talked about issues. I want to talk a little bit about issues, right? What are some issues that might impact a young person, a young Haitian teenager, 18 to 21? I know you guys, some of you guys just voted for the first time, but what's an issue that might impact you? Being civically engaged can help with that issue, Laurent.
All right. Well, I said let's get the elephant out of the room first.
Okay.
Discrimination.
Okay.
That's a thing with people of color in general. There's discrimination
Absolutely.
that goes around. This year,
Yes.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
2020. We're in 2021 now. 2020, things were very active.
Right.
Many protests, many fights for justice.
Right.
So that's definitely an issue. But school is another huge issue. Making sure you're advocating that you have your school and their administration is giving you the proper resources to
Right.
be able to learn. So
Right.
if you don't have a laptop, if you don't have a tablet, if you need internet access, excuse me, then
Mm.
there's you can go advocate for that with your school administration.
Right.
I mean, it's if this is becoming a barrier to your learning, then there's definitely things in place you can do to go and work on that. You have to be proactive.
Right.
It may not always be easy, but there are steps to take.
Mm. What are some of the benefits now, right? So let's say we were to take some of that steps, right? Because we want to give our community action steps. So you can get civically engaged is important, right? That's step one. Step two is you identify the location, the places to get civic engagement, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes,
You said the churches, your local groups, X, Y, and Z. The third one is finding issue-based causes, right, that you can get involved in, that you can push, right, so that you can get your word, your voice amplified. Is that correct? Is that what I'm hearing?
correct.
And
But
then the benefit. What is the benefit to doing all that? So you got you found out what civic engagement is. You got activated. You have a cause. What is the benefits now?
well, the benefit is the issue. Hopefully the issue will go away. Things, whatever
Right.
you're fighting for, will improve. And you often in this process, you go in for one issue, and you end up gravitating towards another, because these things are they're cumulative, and issues are definitely multifaceted. Nowadays, there's so much that goes into one issue that you could end up going into a whole different scope of issues. You could be in economics, you're going into healthcare, for different issues. So the benefit, it may not always be immediate, but the benefit is that your issue will be resolved, and you have a chance to become more civically engaged. You can end up recruiting more people to your cause. You can encourage others to become civically engaged, and on a community level, this is something that's better for our entire community. It's better when people are engaged, because things won't go unnoticed. People will just, in general, they'll be more satisfied. They'll be happier with how the community looks, what's going on. It is not something that uh, it's not something that you should shy away from or be discouraged to do. You should not something you
Right.
should be discouraged to do.
Okay. No, phenomenal. Man, I love that, man. I love those points. So you gave some four terrific action points. You talked about what it is to be civically engaged. You talked about how to actually get civically engaged. You talked about the issues that are around that you can get behind, and then you talked about the benefits of being civically engaged. And this is like a cycle that should continue. Once we get the benefits, once we're able to receive what we wanted, do we end right there, Laurent? Is it over?
No, you progress is ever enduring.
Right.
So it's never over. There will always be work to do.
Absolutely,
There
man.
will.
That's dope. Any questions for me, Laurent?
Uh, well, I've been away, so as I said, I'm at school. So tell me, is there anything that Hack is up to nowadays that I haven't heard about? I've been a bit
Oh,
distant. So
well, I'm glad you asked that because we actually are launching HAC Radio, Radio HAC, in February. And HAC Radio is going to be specifically to our B demographic, which is people 45 and older, our ages 45 and older demographic. So HAC Radio will be targeting that demographic, and it's going to be all in Haitian Creole. So our programs that are on HAC TV will now also air on HAC Radio, but it will be specific in Haitian Creole to our Haitian people. So I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited about the different programs that are going to be coming out, the shows that are going to be coming out on HAC Radio. So I'm really, really excited about that. HAC also, we're doing different programs on HAC TV. We're going to be adding new programs during the week for HAC TV as well. So I'm excited. And just so everybody knows, HAC TV is where we're running all our programs virtually that we would have been doing our in person. So we're really excited about the expansion of this network. We're really excited about all the programming that we're bringing to the Haitian community, and I'm excited, about this year. I think 2021 is going to be the year where the Haitian community really comes together and they organize to really, really get things done. So I'm really excited.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I have to tune in to HAC Radio. Just tell me again, when is it happening?
So starting February, I believe our first show will be February 14th. We have two dynamic hosts, Wesley Foucher and Ariel Metier, and they're just amazing. Everyone's gonna love them. And it's gonna be airing with Radio Soleil, but it will always be also gonna be aired on HAC TV. But people are gonna be able to tune in at Radio Soleil for HAC Radio. And we're really excited about that, and I can't talk more about it. It's going to be really fun.
And English or Creole? Is it going to be a mix?
Creole.
I know you mentioned
Creole. When you va parler Creole, you va parler Creole pour communauté haïtienne qui comprend your Creole, parler Creole comprend. So yes, they're going to be speaking in Haitian Creole. It's going to be all Haitian Creole programming, and I think it's going to be a phenomenal program and then a phenomenal show. So everyone should tune in to HAC Radio in February, but it looks like our time is up. Laurent, man, I just want to thank you for coming on to How Haitians Can Get Civically Engaged, which is sponsored by EEP Law. EEP Law is the law firm that is sponsored HAC. If you have any issues, personal injuries, or civil rights issues, EEP Law is your number one law firm. And HACT is also sponsored by PayPal. PayPal is our social justice sponsor, so that we can come out here and talk about civic engagements. Laurent, any shout outs from you, man?
Shout out to HAC for putting this together.
Yes.
This is it was great to talk to you about this. Hopefully, we can recruit some people to the cause. And I look forward to seeing more programming, and both virtually and over the air for HAC Radio.
Absolutely, man. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Laurent. Thank you for your time, man. We definitely wish you well at Vanderbilt. We know you're gonna make us proud, and thank you so much for being a part of the core HAC team.
Thank you.
Thank you again, everyone, for watching HAC. You're watching HAC TV, sponsored by PayPal and EEP Law. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you coming out and watching us. Please subscribe to HAC on YouTube. Go to our YouTube page, our YouTube channel, Haitian American Caucus, and click that subscribe button. Watch some of our old programmings. Watch our World Food Day. Watch our Soup Jumu program that we have with Chef Claude Pierre. Watch our programs around domestic violence, sponsored by Verizon. Watch our programs about yoga. We have so much programming and content that we're providing on HAC TV, and we look forward to providing even more. So go to our YouTube, Haitian American Caucus, click on the subscribe button, join us now, become a member. Go to www.hacglobal.com haitian.org/join. Become a member of HAC. Follow us. Click on that alarm button right there. Make sure that you join us and be a member, be a part of this community. We look forward to having you. Once again, my name is Sam Pierre. I'm your executive director, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Every life has worth beyond measure,
We think each person is a flood of potential.
waiting to be unleashed.
What if every child
Every woman,
and every man was able to imagine something new
full of hope,
New dreams?
and the ability to choose their own future? A new way of seeing the world,
the community,
themselves.
pushing past the obstacles that once were. And when the world yells, you cannot.
We will keep whispering, yes, you can. Together we can make a difference,
Together we are stronger.
able to move mountains and break the chains of poverty.
Haitian American Caucus, strengthening Haiti through
Education?
Health,
feeding programs.
micro enterprise.
We
We
are
are
Haiti.
Haiti. We are HAC.